Okay, I'm back for round two. So we have these three separate rooms, right? These compartments of soul expression. Soul is expressing itself in this way to me. So I'll just describe briefly the different compartments of the soul that I'm exploring, the spiritual atmosphere. The first compartment is sort of like it's, you know what? I'm just gonna do an introduction and then you can just read it because I want to get into the compartments themselves. So Spirit's asking me which one do I want to start in, and I'm saying I want to start in the one where it's sort of like black snowflakes, and everything is in darkness and there's just sort of swirl. And then there's sort of like this girl. It's always sort of a young girl, like maybe 5 or 6. And then she's wearing white, and then she's sort of like, her hand is sort of coming up like that, and she just never really, she's just sort of given up, but she's not in a death, she hasn't died, so to speak, but she's obviously in a spirit state, so obviously she's in a spirit state, so technically she's not in a body, but so the soul fragment is basically in this state. I need to just heal this, and this angel, with the really piercing blue eyes, is so gorgeous and profound. She's very profound. I thought maybe I'd analyzed her wrong, but she's proving to be consistently just insanely profound. And this is just the way that she how she shares the wisdom is just in this unique way of almost revealing the chaos through her own expression. But she isn't the chaos. She's just revealing the chaos. So it's sort of confusing because it almost feels like it's coming from her, but it is the echo of the memory that she's sharing with me. She's really profound. This might be the most unique angel I've ever met. She's almost like a dark angel, but she's so light. She's so extraordinary. I trust her 100%. So Spirit's like, why do you trust her? How do you know you can trust her? It's like, because she's consistent. She's not harmed me. She has not done anything to make me feel like, make me specifically feel uncomfortable. She's only revealed the wisdom in a way that is her own divine sort of way of expressing wisdom. And it came off as like, whoa, you're a little freaky. But really she's only sharing a reflection of what this is about. So I'm here with her, with this white angel, and she's actually, her demeanor is so changed. And she's really softed up a lot, and she's bending down to help this child. This child is crying for her, to help her. And the angel is sort of picking her up, and is so warm. And the angel herself is like sort of like a nightlight in the dark. So she's glowing, and the glow is surrounding this child, and the child's literally falling asleep in her arms. And all this sort of dark dust is just slowing down, and turning into like a lighter gray color. And just everything is paused out now. All of the flakes are suspended in sort of a light gray color, and everything is just stopped. It has to be paused for a minute. The child deserves space and time to be at peace with this angel. So I'm just gonna have to stop too. I even was like, shh, don't say anything. So I'm just waiting. It's like a really beautiful thing that is happening. Even the angel has sort of like a tear that is like a crystal. It sparkles like a diamond as it rolls down her cheek even. There's been some real sadness from the disconnect or what has happened to this child. And it really harmed this angel a great deal. She felt really sad about this. She's not been able to get there without these things have to be chosen to, you have to choose to do them in the physical, because the souls get sort of trapped through the physical incarnations. These are soul fragments. Soul is infinite, right? So it literally has infinite numbers of fragments or expressions of itself. That's just one soul. How many souls are in an infinite universe? Infinite numbers of souls. People try to define a number. There's no number that would ever define that. So how many atoms are in a universe? Do you know the number? Infinite. You wouldn't. There's so many universes, there's so many dimensions, there's so many alternate ways, places, layers, things, echoes, ghosts, all different versions of the spiritual universe. You would never get bored, not even in eternity. That's how massive it is, how many realms there are to explore, how many different faces are of the infinite. Is so amazing. Even angels are of so many different kinds. They aren't just what you think. There's so many different kinds of them. It's so peaceful. We're still here with this angel and this girl. And the angel has sort of a wavering demeanor where she's balanced between dark and light is the only way I could describe it. This is a lot like... So it's hard for people to make sense of this, but you go through enough really dark lifetimes, and you too comprehend the darkness of an infinite universe. Therefore, your soul also develops in the dark, right? So now it is in balance. It's learning about the balance of darkness, and then it goes through lifetimes where it's exploring love. So now you have karmic cycles, right? So the soul is learning how to balance between the dark and the light. The older your soul is, the more depth there is to it, and the more darkness it is endured. So now the soul comprehends darkness at a more profound level. So now the evil or the sort of depth of dark that a soul can sort of share is quite profound with the ancient souls. It doesn't mean that soul is intended to be evil. It's just endured so much of the dark that it also has this sort of reflective side. So they're like, so you're telling me that this angel incarnates. This is a big deal because angels do incarnate. And I don't quite understand it yet. And the Spirit says, yes, angels do incarnate. People don't relate to angels incarnating. And yes, angels incarnate too. And they're saying, do you know what an angel is? Angel versus what is a soul? And I don't. I think all souls are angels. But all angels too have sort of a soul version. But there's something not right about that even. I'm still learning it. But this is still happening. I'm still waiting. So this little girl is literally so peaceful, and this angel is sort of wavering back to show her sort of profound light side. It was important that this conversation be had. She's trying to share wisdom with humanity through this video too. So that we can see that angels do have a light and a dark side, and this angel, this very profound, gorgeous, extraordinary, mind-blowing angel, has incarnated as well. It almost feels like she was a mother of a child. The child had gotten lost and then died. And the child died without her mother, and that was absolutely terrible for this child. And it was sort of like in between the states of the end state of the child. This is real. This was a real past life for Maria. This is how it reveals itself to me. So in this is like really profound. Before the child died, the child basically had this experience of like the body shutting down, the mind shutting down and giving up sort of experience. But the grief was so horrible that the transition never completed itself. And so her some soul fragment has been trapped in this sort of memory, and it has been absolutely terrible. And this angel that was incarnated as the mother cannot reach. It has to be chosen in the physical. You have to choose to do this in the physical. And now you can heal through the physical. I can project my soul to these places to help you. But you can't just, I don't understand why they can't just go in and help these soul fragments, but it has to be done in the physical. It's the only way I can understand it thus far. So the angels, like, there's such a rejoice. They're telling me that Maria has a very special soul too. And it's sort of unique because their sort of soul lineage is really aligned with this really unique angel. Every soul is special, every single one. And no two souls are alike, not even twin souls are alike. It's maybe hard to tell the difference. But there are differences. Just like in real twins. They may look identical, but there's definitely differences in their personality. There's so much healing going on. Literally, I'm just having to wait for this. I can't, okay. I'm going to let them be in this embrace, and I'm going to go check out these other layers, because this has been waiting to happen for a really long time. And this has not been able to find relief. So there's something changing about this image. They're telling me it is okay to let them do their thing. Everything is sort of, I'm not allowed, it's sort of like the door is closing on that world right now, but I'm going to go back and check on it before the end is over, because I don't like leaving rooms like that, but they obviously need time. And I only have so much time, you know what I mean? So you guys go hug for a while. I'm gonna do something else. So Spirit is sort of saying that this is a reminder that Spirit realm, there is time, like that embrace needs to take place, and so I can't speed it up or anything. I have to wait. I just have to wait for that to be completed. And I can't force it to complete itself. And so therefore as a human being, am waiting for something to be done in the spirit realm. You see what I mean? So spirit realm isn't just like this. It does have to wait for something to find balance in the spirit realm itself. That was a really huge deal. Maria, you really needed that. They aren't showing me anything yet related to any type of rape thing. That was a really, you have a really deep and grieving part of your soul, but that part is sort of, it is in such a state of awesome healing right now. Once that soul fragment is fully healed and rejuvenated in the light, which it will be, you will feel your soul even. It's sort of like the bulb was really dim, and so once this is all said and done, we'll be getting a replacement bulb. Like, your bulb is going to be recharged, refreshed, and it's going to be like blasting light everywhere, and you'll feel it. So I'm going back to this next layer with this giant octopus with like 100 arms. It's got this massive head, and the arms aren't as long as the head. It's kind of they're really short, but there's so many of them. It has like a razor, sort of like a saw for a mouth, but it's just an open hole, and then it has these like teeth that are going around the circle, and it's just sort of like this, spinning really fast. And we're just in this dark space, and there's ground. And it's just dark. These realms look like caves and tunnels made out of dirt and rocks and stuff like that. So I'm just waiting, and there's sort of like a man here on the side is sort of in a dark, like a dark cloud of some kind. Just suspended. There's basically, I'm seeing two different dimensions. It's sort of in connection with each other, and they're two different places, but they're sort of in the same place, and they're in connection with one another. And so I need to understand what this is about. I don't know why this octopus just makes me think of like a virus or something. a virus that just, it has so many arms that you can't break it from the bloodstream. It's just sort of there, and unbreakable, sort of, they're really wanting to show me a yellow light. I really like this yellow light these days. I've been seeing it. Light. You just don't know what light this is gonna be. And this yellow light has a sort of way about it. And when it comes, it sort of comes out of left field. It's just so pristine in its movement. It's just like the sun. The sun doesn't make a sound, right? You just see it, just going up and then setting. So you get the sunrise and the sunset, and it's just so beautiful. But this is pure yellow. It has no tarnished color. Like, if you use pure yellow paint with any other color, like, you can't get pure yellow. It's like the most impossible color. You can't. It's just so hard to paint a picture and then put in pure yellow, and it just gets dirty. You know what I mean? Yellow does. This is purely yellow. There's not even any dirt on it at all. It's really cool. And it's just coming down into this layer. It's like putting warm sunlight. It is so attracted to this octopus. It wants to touch the octopus. It actually just is sort of like a warm blanket. It just wants to snuggle into the octopus for some reason. It's sort of attracted to loving things that that are trying to create harm or disruption or disturbance. And it's so attracted to that. It can't stop getting, like, it just wants to. It's like a dog, you know. A dog just can't lick your face, can't get close enough to you, you know. They just love you so much. This sort of yellow ball just loves this octopus so much. Just like, I love you, I love you, I love you. It won't stop. Just wants to get into the octopus. So it is actually. And is going to the octopus's sort of like where his brain would be, or his thinking center, is filling it with light. And the octopus is now turning to is turning to stone even. It has no further value at this time. Is turning to stone, and then the outer core is breaking, and the inner core is sort of like the skin of an old octopus. Is sort of, there's nothing on the insides of it, and it's just like a black tar skin. And there's like a little yellow sort of light, but it has sort of bird's feet. Is picking it up, clutching it in the feet, and sort of taking it away, putting it into the white light even. And it's a yellow bird. It's yellow birds. It's also a light though. It goes in and out of being, what is it, like a yellow bird, but then just a yellow ball of warm light. And then it takes this sort of octopus skin within its feet, and the octopus skin is sort of evaporating. They're not helping me to understand the meaning of anything that I'm seeing. And now, what is there? What was the octopus is sort of a mirage of a soul. And it's a female soul. She's showing herself as a female human. She's also crying. And she's like a white stone statue. She kind of looks like Mother Mary. And she's got like a really beautiful, like pinkish color. It's so light though. You almost can't tell, but it's like a blend with almost a purple, and it's just so light. She's also in movement, although she's sort of like a solid statue. And she's wiping tears from her eyes with a sort of a cloth even. And she's wearing sort of a cloth as well. Really makes me think of like Mother Mary, and sort of Jesus, and this is really like a real, like, honest and true, really Christian sort of, but it's sort of the most beautiful and sacred and holy side of Christianity, the most revered side of that sort of expression. And so I'm going to her. The more I'm so close to her, I'm just not there yet. Because there's a time for her to sort of come awake, but there's a time for me to be near her. And it's not time for me to be there yet, although I'm trying to get there. So she's coming to life even. She's not a statue. She's filled with color. She's wearing red, it's sort of a burnt orange sort of dress, and it's got some white here, but the whole of the dress is sort of a burnt orange color. And then she has this really purple, like this lavender, it's pretty lavender sort of head cloth piece, and then it's sort of white. I like the color arrangement. Burnt orange and lavender look really nice together. So, it's like your unexpected color arrangement that looks pretty. She's starting, the tears are drying. She's starting to breathe and come alive and awake and sort of aware of her surroundings. There's even the room's changing, and there's even vines along the sides, and I can even hear birds, and it's sort of like wildlife. I just feel like it's turning into a jungle, which is strange because it's not a jungle, they said. There's a cliff, a rocky cliff sort of thing, and then there's plants that grow up along this sort of cliff ledge. And they said that Mother Mary, or time of Jesus, was really appropriate. They're saying that location and that's around that time period was at the time when something bad had happened. They're telling me that I will. So I'm still developing my senses and making sense of these things, and I can't quite pull together the whole story of what happens yet, but they're saying my biological abilities are developing enough where I'm going to see with greater clarity soon. So this is the best of my abilities right now. This is really honest, and she's at a pool of water. And there have been tears falling into the water. She's crying. Somebody had died, is literally what... This really, I'm not gonna lie, what comes, it literally feels like she had known Jesus at one time, and that his death was really traumatic for her. But they're not saying that's it. But they're saying that that I'm sort of intertwining sort of the place and the appearance with that time period, with that, but that isn't the connection. Although that is an honest reflection of this sort of vibration that is holy and sacred, and she was really like that, really into what being holy or sacred or just a pure woman, but in a sort of that sort of way, pious or saintly or something. She's looking at her reflection now. And she sees herself in the reflection. It's as if they didn't have mirrors, and so they would look at themselves through their reflection in ponds and stuff like that. And so she's trying to check just to see how her face is. So she's like from being red or puffy from crying. She's just drying her tears and then looking at her reflection in this pond. So there's something bad that had happened to her. They're saying that so if that is it, she had an experience that was somebody had violated her. It feels like, I understand now why I was getting confused, but Spirit was able to correct me. And they're saying that is correct. This woman had been violated. And this sort of in conjunction with what they were wearing at that time and in that place where Jesus was. But this was not related to Jesus, but she did have sort of this persona of being a very pure, sacred woman. So this violation was absolutely terrible. It even comes, they're saying that this was so horrible in this lifetime that this had happened to her, that it is so loud that it has echoed through lifetimes and into this present moment, where you still feel the pain from that. And it sort of comes as like a giant, they're saying this is like Mother Mary being raped. This would be as blasphemous and as terrible as that. And so now you can understand why this would just be so loud and echoing into your current experience. This is really bad, and it's coming to me as a giant dark sort of expression. And so she's still sort of stuck in this sort of memory, trying to dry her tears and trying to make herself look normal, I guess. She's trying to heal through seeing herself and just trying to be normal again, right? But this giant is sort of there. It's just a dark giant expression. It looks let's just say a water tower with legs, but it's made out of like dirt and like products of the ground, and it's sort of walking, and then it has really long arms too, like its long legs, and it's sort of made out of like dirt and just dark matter, and I can't really see that it has eyes or a mouth. But it does. It is a reflection of a real a vibration of some kind. They're gonna help me understand. I'm just touching it. This is really bad. This is that guy. So she felt disgusting after this had happened, and it made her feel literally like this sickness in the blood that won't go away, right? And it's sort of like sort of disgusting octopus. And it just made her feel so disgusting. And so for this yellow bird to come and show that the love this yellow bird has is sort of healing and taking this away, this disgusted part. And now she's broken free. Now she can show me what had happened. And now I'm in that sort of space, and now I'm seeing the man who did this is the man sort of in the side, in that other dimension. And this actually... his soul, so when you make bad decisions, your soul is going to be attached to that decision. His soul has been actually feeling an experience of grief by the actions that were made, because the soul develops and it learns, and then it still has a sort of echoing memory, right? His soul has to live with that for eternity, all right? And these souls do experience like grief or the shame of their actions, but they're not like they're sort of like this really balanced understanding and non-judgmental way that all the souls are in the infinite spiritual universe. So he's sort of been sort of this giant looming around, this giant freak basically looming around near her, and so I've been touching him to help him feel forgiveness and know that it's okay to let go now. He actually is not a jerk or an evil. He made a very poor choice, and that disturbed you. And he's actually been needing forgiveness for a really long time. He's felt really ashamed of this, like bad. His soul development has allowed him to see clearly his actions, and now he wants to heal from them. Therefore, you choosing to do this is not only healing you, it is healing his soul, and his soul is desperately needed to feel this sort of healing and relief. He's like... He is so sad about that he did this to you. His soul has developed. It is not in that sort of way of being now. It actually feels really sad about this. So I'm just waiting because he's sort of coming to terms or in a state of healing himself over everything. He just Okay, basically he just blew up. And he's no longer there. I don't understand why that has just happened. There's sort of an awful geyser of dark tar that is busting through the ground in the space, and there's even more of an evil monster behind the scenes of all of this. They're showing me how corruption, they're sort of the deepest, darkest monsters of the depths, and they have these amazing veins of corrupting souls, and inspiring souls to make very poor decisions. And just in that they hurt others. It's not poor. It's just, and then now the soul develops and then sees what is done. It was honestly sort of corrupted or possessed by a very darker, very malicious, not very nice guy. That is just their way, you know. That is just their way. I've been seeing this, where it's not just sort of their darker reflection, but they have an attachment to a much more profound, darker expression. So once you heal them, now you have to go and heal who was in charge of this corruption in the first place. So now they're showing this to me. They're saying he's been released. The sort of blow up that they say that it wasn't exactly like that, although it kind of was. It was his soul, literally a complete detachment from the two. It was so fast that it just. But now the scene, everything is gone, and I'm just seeing this giant monster. He is a monster, but he doesn't have any feeling of like making me uncomfortable or anything. I'm just seeing him. He looks like just a giant root, or like a potato that's like grown all these sort of things. But he's black, and he's just got they have mouth and eyes. And he has these sort of tentacles that come out, and they attach to things, and then he sort of fills them with sort of dark energy and darker inspirations. And then when they disconnect, now where is his root going to go? It has to find a new source, because somehow he feeds off of, so he inspires his darkness, and then he feeds off of the darker choices, and it sort of grows him. So he gets fed this way. So there's like a lot of they're like showing me like a lot of these. There's like realms of these sort of things. What could be like a forest of them? And they're almost like parasites, you know? And so I'm just seeing like, it's sort of like you're in Aliens and you're just gonna go find Newt. And there's like you stumble across the mother alien, and now there's all these like eggs that are opening up, and you're like, oh god. And so it's sort of like I'm in this realm where there's like thousands of these things. They're asking me if I know what to do. I'm like, I don't know. They're not exactly evil. They're nothing. There's nothing evil. They're very evil, Abby. They inspire people to rape others and do all kinds of bad things. And so it's like, I guess I don't know what to do right now about this. This is going to have to be some, oh man. All right, I'm going to just put this on pause. So this is just, because I don't want these to be over 30 minutes. And then that way you can kind of watch them in sections. So let me just decide what I'm going to do next here. I'll be right back.